So yes, wisdom and knowledge. I think I want to start first on trying to put a distinction between the two. You know, um, knowledge and wisdom are two different things. I know ukuthi senhlale kakhulu nabelungu, so you tend to conflate the two. So much so ukuthi nize ngicabanga ukuthi lamajazi abovu mean that somehow you are wise and knowledgeable, which is not really true. Yeah. Angisho futhi nami ukuthi ke I take point in claiming that I know everything, but I've realized a lot of things about what we have been taught on this planet and what we think we know. You know, just a very glaring example of it is that I was looking at another article on Science Weekly. They were talking about how the days are shorter now because the Earth is speeding up rotation. Yeah, and I realized something there and then. In fact, a day has never been 24 hours. There has never been a 24-hour day. I mean, in our experience being here so far. But clearly somebody wanted us to keep vibrating at this 2 times 3 frequency. Always vibrating at 66666. So that one as well is just there's a lot of things that people have set up, people who are clever, people who have a particular wisdom, you see. But because we have knowledge, we can't see what there's a wisdom behind this thing of being 24 hours. We just know. So people who have knowledge know that a day is 24 hours. Or they know that a day has never been 24 hours. And people who have wisdom know why a day needs to be 24 hours. They understand and realize the power of making people vibrate at 666 every day of their waking. There's a distinction between knowledge and wisdom. Those people who enforced this know exactly what comes out of it as a result. You can even take it further to 7 days a week, 365 days in a year. You know, people have been very clear in terms of doing their historical research and publishing. In actual fact, this thing of 365 days a year doesn't exist. The calendar is wrong. Even time is wrong. Based on the quartz crystal, they think it's quite accurate. But it's one of those things that people who have knowledge know, and then people who have wisdom know and understand and realize, okay, well, you can't really do anything about it right now. It'll be too much of a shift. It will change something to change this. And the wisdom tells them, it is okay for every second to be there, every 60 millisecond, every minute to be there, every 60 second, every hour to be there, every 60 minutes. So you're constantly vibrating at that 6666666. And then you find people looking around for the mark of the beast and don't realize. But people who have the wisdom know what those patterns represent. People who have knowledge know that there's 6 days, there's 7 days in a week, there's 60 minutes in an hour. We just know because we have knowledge of things, but we don't have the wisdom just to realize what that knowledge is for. So the teaching today is that knowledge is acquired. You gather knowledge. It is retained, without threat or loss. It's something you can gather and never lose because you just know. It involves the mind and the intelligence. And people who have knowledge can live and survive on this plane. You have the knowledge of how to bake bread, from scratch. You have the knowledge of how to make flour, how to plant, how to do this, how to do this. But you don't possess the wisdom to realize all of those things, what they lead to. Kumnandi ukuthi you can make bread and eat it and enjoy it, but you never realize what actually happens when you multipleize and what the risks are. So the wisdom would tell you, ukuthi, if you are making bread, don't just make bread, make bread in a certain way with a certain quality of wheat without certain additives. You would be wise to realize that because you know what comes out of the end. So we come and say, then wisdom is realized. Wisdom is inherited and must be kept safe. It's not granted that you are going to maintain wisdom without having to take care of it or keep it locked. It's not granted. Unlike knowledge, you can gather knowledge and just keep it without ever having to lose it. The would think about knowledge is you don't even have to tell the next person. They can even figure it out on their own. And then you can repeat and regurgitate. But wisdom, you have to keep it and make sure that it's preserved. Now, wisdom is also transcending in a sense that it goes beyond the physical plane and intelligence and your capacity and all those things. It transcends life and existence entirely, So you have that people who possess wisdom tend to be the ones who thrive and dominate the world. This is why there are few people who dominate the world, because wisdom is not something that is common. You see, all these people who have PhDs, masters, nani, thinking they're so far in terms of knowledge and intelligence, are ruled over by people who are very few, who didn't even probably bother to go to school. And that's just how the world is. Because they have a wisdom that has nothing to do with the things that they teach you in school and namajazla. This wisdom has to do with other things. So it transcends, it deals with the otherness. Things that you don't normally look at. Those are the distinctions between knowledge and wisdom. And I'm saying this because Black people, you need to realize there's a wisdom that you have lost along the way. And there's a lot of it. And the fact that you have lost it or you no longer possess it has brought you to this point where you are dominated by other people. It has brought you to a point where you have no sense of the otherness. You can know things. Black people know things, man. They are very intelligent. But there's always that lack of the wisdom